Thank you, Mr. President. And I know, Mr. President, as the chairman of the Military Community Protection Commission and as a proud guardsman, you know well the issue about which we're speaking today. I want to thank my colleague, Senator Wozniak. I also want to express thanks to Senator Vlahovic, particularly thanks to Senator Baker, Senator Udicak, for their support, and indeed the entire Senate for the unanimous vote on our concurrent resolution 149. You heard the remarks of Senator Wozniak, Mr. President, but embedded in the actions of the Army, unilateral actions of the Army, would be the elimination of Armored Brigade Combat Teams, including the 55th ABCT, which is based in Scranton, back in the 22nd District that I represent. Mr. President, 3,500 people are affected by this action by the U.S. Army. And again, as my colleague Senator Wozniak said, the Army has made this decision unilaterally even before the completion of the report by the National Commission on the Future of the Army. Mr. President, the Guard is really the best economic value for the military. A drilling guardsman or woman costs about 15% of an active duty soldier, and even if they're mobilized by DOD, by the Army, they probably cost at about 80 to 95% of an active duty soldier without losing any quality, any issues of diminishment of the ability of these servicemen and women. So we obviously want to urge the Army, and we obviously want to urge Congress to mitigate the impacts of these unilateral decisions and to hold off until the Commission has provided its report on the future of the Army. Something I need to say about the 55th. I had a chance to be with Colonel Consman, and it was a ceremonial mess before they got deployed to Kuwait a couple years ago. I never saw a more distinguished, more committed, more dedicated, more remarkable a set of men and women that are serving in this brigade. They have been really one of the oldest unit in the country. Some of their divisions, some of their regiments really trace their history back to the Revolutionary era, and they have been decorated for their services in every theater since, Mr. President, including service in Iraq and Afghanistan recently. So again, I want to thank my colleagues for the unanimous vote. We are trying to send a message to the federal delegation. I do have to give a shout out here, Mr. President, to U.S. Senator Bob Casey, as well as to Congressman Matt Cartwright, who have been very helpful on this, as well as Congressman Marino and Senator Toomey, who I know have the same concerns we do. So appreciate the unanimous support of the Pennsylvania State Senate on this issue. We hope the Army would hear our message. Thank you, Mr. President.